All right, welcome back to the greatest podcast. Yes, the number one podcast of deep conversations and journal prompts. Today we have a reoccurring guest. His name is Matthew Fiorenzo. What is up?
Not much. How's everything going?
Pretty good, a little bored, but we're making our ways through life right now. All right, so let's get this journal prompt under our belt. All right, so today's journal prompt is what surprised you the most about your life or life in general? Once again, what surprised you most about your life or life in general? Take a minute, see what comes up to you guys, because this is a pretty open-ended question. You guys will probably have a bunch of different ideas compared to us, and we will catch you guys in about a minute. All right, so before we get started, make sure wherever you guys are, if you're watching this on YouTube, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. If you guys are on iTunes listening to the podcast app, make sure you guys rate it, 5 stars. That would be nice. But the more that you guys rate this, the more that you guys like it, the more that the content will be pushed out to other people. So just keep that in mind. All right, so I'll start this one off because I don't know if you have anything in mind yet, and I don't know, when I saw this journal prompt, something just clicked. I don't know, you know how like you see something and you're like, oh shit, like that for some reason is clicking with me right now. This one definitely did that. So, what surprised you the most about your life or life in general? So the first thing that I thought of is something that I'm working on, and obviously everyone's a different person, but it's being less ignorant to everything around you. Like there's a lot of things in this world that people are pushing out, like their content and their belief system and stuff like that. And for some reason, people are very ignorant to open up and allow those thoughts and ideas to come into them. So this is something that I've definitely been working on, and it was weird. So I was in the parking lot of Rockham one day, and out of nowhere, like I was just thinking to myself, and say the topic was, it was just basketball, and it was like, oh, this person's better than this person, and that's what I thought right away. And then I thought that like a thought came to my mind that what happened with that actual person, like with their skill set and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, maybe they're not. And there wasn't a part of me that needed to defend my first position. So that's where I'm at. Like that's like I was so happy in that. It's so weird because these little things make you so happy and see so much progression after a while. Like I was just like, wow, usually I would defend my position even though I was wrong, just because my ego and everything inside of me was like, no, you can't be wrong. Like you have to be right in the situation. So, like, that's something that surprises me. A lot of older people in my lifetime that I've seen are very ignorant to opening up and opening up to the other side of the conversation.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I like it. For me,
Speak up a little. Yeah.
okay, yeah, for me, with this quote, something that surprises me about life is that nobody really knows what is going on. Like, we all just come into this life with, there's no rule book. You just come right into this life. You didn't choose to be born. You're just born. Like,
That's such a great way of putting it, yeah.
you're just born, and everything really just happens on its own. Like, you fall asleep, you wake up on your own. Like, it's not under your control. It's not.
Yeah.
And life it's sort of something that just happens to you and through you. So it's definitely surprising to me, like that everyone's going through this life. What really surprises me is that we don't talk about it that often. It's
Yeah.
we just go along, go buy our groceries, and go about the normalcies of life, like going to your job, going to school, working towards something in the future, and then something like what's happening now, the coronavirus, happens, and then we're all forced to alter our everyday lives, and maybe this is a good thing, and it'll give people time to like look within themselves and contemplate reality, but who knows?
Yeah, when like a lot of people that I talk to are like, I miss my routine with life. And what you brought up was something that was great. We don't think about how we're here or why we're here. We're just like, all right, let's go throughout our day. So now they're kind of forced to be in that situation. Like, all right, I got all this time on my hands. Like, hopefully they don't create a new routine, because you don't want to create a routine when you're stuck in your house. Like, just do the things that you need to do, because if you're going to create a routine, you're going to most likely create a routine with watching TV, watching YouTube, watching movies, everything that we're not supposed to do when we're like stuck inside. That's what you're going to create a routine off of. So hopefully they put more into their lives of thinking, of opening up and seeing like these questions, these thoughts that come into their mind. And a lot of times people are scared of going down that route because it gives them anxiety. They're like, oh my God, why am I here? What am I doing? Like, what am I supposed to be doing with my life? And when you have too much time to think, that's when it like you really go down that rabbit hole, and like anxiety builds up, depression builds up. Because what a great thing that I read was that when you think about the future, that's all of your anxiety. You don't really have anxiety in the present moment unless you're, I don't know, presenting a project or something like that, or something along the lines of that, where you're scared you're being judged for a grade or for a promotion or something like that. That's fine, but most of our anxiety is coming from staring into the future and being like, shit, what the fuck's gonna happen to us right now? And that's what happens when you have a lot of time. So hopefully these people start to think about these questions, but not too quickly, because they'll fucking go crazy.
Yeah, true. This actually, I'm glad we're talking about time right now, because I'm reading The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful book, and he talks about how the present and the future are really just illusions, and that when we think about the present and future, we think about them in the present moment. Like, I mean, the past and the future, we think about it in the present moment.
Yeah.
And that, just like if you're anxious for something, you're thinking into the future. You're guilty about the past. You're thinking in terms of the past. But no matter what, you're thinking now. You're in the present moment thinking.
Yeah. And that's what fucks you up the most.
And what he's saying in the book is that there really is no other. You've never lived in any other space other than right now, this moment.
Yeah.
Like when the future comes, it's going to be this moment. And when you are fully in the now, present, like there's nothing to be scared of or anxious of, because you're not worried about it. You're worried about what's going to happen, how you're going to be perceived by people.
I mean, there's so many things that you go into and you're just so worried. Even if you're going into work, you're going to work with somebody that you don't want to. Say you're working with LJ that day and you guys just had like a big fight or something, like the last time you guys were with each other. So now you're thinking about the past of what happened, and now you're thinking about the future, and you're not in the present moment. And you're just building up all this anxiety that you don't even know. Maybe you walk in and he's like, hey man, like that was all my fault. Sorry about that. Let's move on. And that could possibly be what will happen in 20 minutes from now, but you're working yourself up so much that you're just like, yo, like, I'm about to have a panic attack right now. Like, I don't know even if I could go to work. I don't know if I could work with LJ for more than 20 minutes. Like, it's crazy what psychologically people could do with their mind.
Yeah, you're creating something that's not even real. Worrying about something that might not even happen. You know, you're wasting your time, really. You're wasting the moment when you're worried about the future or...
Yeah, how do you work on that? How do you work on living in the present moment? Because this is something I've been working on for a while, just trying to be in the present moment. And it's hard to do that, but also at our age, you know, we're 20, you're 21, I'm turning 21, to fulfill your life with your future, with what you want to do. It's very hard to stick to the present moment, but also work on things that you want for your future.
Right, because you know there's things that you need to do now to become what you want to become in the future.
Yeah.
For me, it's like what I want to practice more of too is meditation.
Oh, yeah.
Like coming into the moment, not to escape my problems, but to just really feel the moment. Come into my body, feel everything that's around me. Listen to the sounds, like become very intensely conscious of right now,
right this
what's
second.
happening right now, because what is happening right now is what is real. Everything else is not real. It's just made up in your mind.
It's true.
And then you allow those mind stories to control the way you think, and it controls the way you act. And yeah, I'm losing my train of thought. Yeah.
No, I feel you. Yeah, I mean, when you think about the present moment, it's so... I love that you brought up meditation, because I've been... I'm home with my sister, so this bitch is just meditating like crazy.
Nice.
Like, she's just doing yoga and meditating. Because, like, that's what she wants to go into with her future life, and to, like, get income and stuff. So, you know, you got to practice that shit all the time. And I've been meditating like crazy these past few days. And what I've discovered, which is great for like what will happen in the future and stuff like that, is that I'm helping my... You know how, like, I hurt my foot a little bit ago? Like, it's always on and off with bothering me. And for some reason, like, when this whole shit started where I stopped working, like, that day... my foot started hurting me. You know, I didn't know if it was because I wasn't putting enough pressure on it and I wasn't working it out enough, or was I not healing it enough. And it's so bizarre to say this, but I've been healing it through meditation. Literally just laying down and just in my mind saying I'm sending love, recovery, and strength to my left foot, and just repeating it over and over. And yes, I've definitely been laying down, elevating my foot and stuff like that. It's nothing too crazy. I'm not doing anything bizarre. I'm not putting any medication into me, but just laying down and just putting those three thoughts into my left foot. Like, I was jumping on it today, like nothing felt, like no bad symptoms at all. It was so weird. And like, the power of your mind is just absurd. Like, people don't realize how crazy intelligent we actually are, but we don't use it.
Yeah. And there's times where you use the mind and the mind uses you. So, you know, I fall into that a lot. Sometimes, you know, everyone does. We all do. You know, we all go crazy sometimes, you know, just overthinking everything, overanalyzing every little detail, and, you know, thinking about the future and the past way too much instead of focusing on what can be done right now. Because there's always something that can be done right now.
Yeah, seriously.
And it's probably, if you are fully present in the moment and you're focusing on what can be done now, it's almost always going to be, it's likely to be good for your future. And what's good for you is good for others. So it's just, you know, just works out.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about this. I was listening to Joe Rogan talk about like, you know, how he gets obsessed with shit. and that's the only thing that like he does. So he always talks about video games, how he used to be so obsessed with video games, and that he would play for like hours straight. And even though in the present moment, you know, you're not working towards your future, you created so many memories that you were just so happy. You were blissfully happy, and nothing else in that situation was wrong. You were just like, oh, like I'm enjoying this video game right now. I'm playing a lot, and I'm getting all of my what's the
enjoyment.
word? Yeah, enjoyment. My creativity. Just even like my what's the word,
like you're using your energy.
No, like what's the word when you're like, I don't know, something with obsession. Like I'm getting all of my when you're like, when
Addicted?
you want to do something, I feel like I'm playing Taboo right now. When you want to play some, I don't know, whatever. You guys get the point. Like, oh, your interest. Like you're just going off of your interest, and like you're enjoying your interest at that time. And even though you're not working towards your future, it is good for your future because you're getting all of that out. Like for me, there are some days where I'm like, damn, I really want to play video games. And like that comes out of me, or like any type of game at that point. Like I could play a game on the computer, that's totally fine. But there's a part of me that's like, I need to do this now, or else, you know, I'm going to regret not playing that in the future. And it's a weird type of balance because, like, you want to do the things that are productive in your life, but you also want to do the things that you're interested in.
Of course. There's an old saying, all work and no play makes Johnny a dull boy. If you're always focusing on achieving and striving for the future, you're missing the point of life. You know, which is found in the moment.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah, it's all
so.
Yeah, no, it's definitely true. Yeah, like you don't want to always focus on your future because then you're never focusing on the present moment.
Yeah, because when that future comes, it's going to come as the present moment. Yeah. That's where life is lived.
Yeah, and you're not, when you get to that point, like you just said, you're going to be focusing, you're not in the present moment, so you're still focusing on that future. So when you get to your goal, whatever your goal is, say you're opening up a business, you want to make sure it is profitable in, I don't know, a year and a half. Like it's fully profitable, you're making this amount of money. Now you're at that point, but you're not even enjoying the moment of you getting to that goal. You're already on to that next goal, which you need to enjoy the moment, but not for too long, because then that's when you go back downhill and you have to recover from there.
Right.
So yeah, balance is definitely, that's something that's interesting. That's definitely we could definitely connect that to I don't know. I'm trying to get the journal prompt back up.
Right.
The most surprising thing is that the hardest thing in life is balancing, for me. Like it is so hard to be able to be like, all right, I'm gonna watch a movie right now, and then after I'll work. And then like, or, oh, I'll go to work right now, and then after I'll go hang out with my friends and do nothing or something like that. Or yeah, playing games and stuff like that. It's very interesting to me how hard balance is with everything in the world. It's like a pie chart trying to get 25% for all four things, whatever your four things are, but it's always fluctuating.
Yeah, there's things you need to do, or you think you need to do. Then there's things you want to do. It's like, that's what you have to balance.
Yeah.
What you want to do and what.
And sometimes they switch sides. So like your needs become your wants, and then your wants become your needs, and now psychologically you're like, oh, I need to do this, but it's more of a want. So like then you start losing the interest, or like you start gaining interest and stuff like that. So it's very, very weird. It's a weird concept. So what have you been up to during this coronavirus? Because the last time you were on, we were talking about if money was not a factor in life, what would you do with your time? And this is kind of a time when no one's making money unless you're making money from online sources like YouTube and shit like that, or blogs and stuff, the stock market, or you own a grocery store like a CVS or something like that. So what have you been up to?
I have been working out a lot.
Nice.
Been doing a lot of working out, trying to be as productive as I can. like you got school is online now, so it's a big adjustment. And this is my first semester as it is in college, and now it's online. So been like stressing about that too, which is not the best thing to do. It's just like do what you got to do. Like, don't stress about it. Or I've been procrastinating a lot. Got a lot of cleaning done around the house too.
Where I just cleaned out my whole attic.
Nice.
I was so bored. I went up there and just organized everything.
Yeah, so a lot of cleaning.
Yeah, how's your like how's school been? Like, how did you adapt to it? Because that's really hard, going from my whole entire life I was in a classroom, now I'm online, I'm video chatting with my professor, with everybody else. No, like, being at home is super distracting because oh yeah, my mom's calling me, I'm on my lecture, but like, who cares? What do you need, Ma? What's up? So, like, how have you adapted to it?
It's very hard, honestly, to do your homework. You're not as motivated, but I think I'm adapting well. It's just about taking the time out of your day. It's a fraction of your day. You just gotta set the time aside, do it, sit down, do it, and then you could go do the things you enjoy. Like,
do you write down what you should do at what time?
No.
I feel like you would benefit from it. I don't do it.
I have live lectures though. Like this morning, I had one at 8:00, and then I had to respond to a question in a discussion forum for English at like 9:30 or whatever.
So you do have like times of, okay, I have the lecture now, I have to get my homework in by this time, but it's still like you still are doing other stuff. Like, you're getting into working out, you're reading more, you're probably gonna go for walks and shit like that, just to get out of your house. Like, sometimes even when you this is my problem with setting aside a time with like writing every single thing out for each day. For 7 to 8 I'm doing this, 6 to 5, 5 to 6, yeah, I'm going backwards. But for me, it's like sometimes I'm just not interested in doing it in that moment. Like, what I've realized since I've been home is that I would try to get every single thing out of the way as quickly as possible. So I would wake up, work out, go on the stock market, try to trade, do whatever I need to do with that. Then I would take my book, read my book, have my smoothie right after that, and then possibly write, do whatever I need to do. Maybe I have to upload a podcast, maybe I have to do something for Instagram, whatever, and then I finally get to chill. But when I'm at that point of chilling, I'm like, okay, now I have nothing else to do for the rest of the day. I'm just gonna chill for the rest of the day, and then you get bored of just chilling.
True, right. One thing's to switch gears here, like one of the things that this like stoppage of all the economy and everything is, and us being forced to stay inside, has helped for me, and I'm sure it's going to help other people too, is that a lot of us live like through these unconscious patterns, like, and habits, like, of behaviors, thoughts. And when you're just running off that momentum, sometimes it could be bad. It could be bad momentum. And and when you stop going to work, you stop going to school, you have nowhere to go, you're forced to look inside and see where you're creating most of the issues in your life. And that's why I'm turning back to like reading my books, like The Power of Now, because to get my head on right, so I could attack the day and understand why I'm here. What am I doing here? What's my purpose? Instead of just going about every day, this is just life is just normal, like not thinking twice about it, just going along.
Not hesitating.
And always reacting, and instead of like really observing and paying attention to my behaviors.
You have to observe and pay attention, but then you also have to react in the same like time of construct, honestly, because if you're observing yourself and you're like, oh shit, I'm falling back in the same hole that will regress me as a person. I have to take action right now, and it's hard to do that in that same moment. You know?
Right. If you're just going about every day the same way as you've been going before, based off of all your, like, this puts this like stops your momentum completely.
Oh yeah.
And
this whole fiasco with the virus and shit.
Everyone's forced to make changes in their lives now, or at least they have more time to look at things from different perspectives and see where they can make changes.
Yeah. Back to what we started off with like how I was saying everyone. Well, for me personally, I was very ignorant, but I do see a lot of people have those ignorant styles of speaking in a conversation when you can obviously see that point A is better than point B, but since they said point B, they have to keep going with it.
Right. Yeah. That's the ego right there.
Yeah. Well, how is this book? Do you what is it called? The Power of Now?
The Power of Now, yeah.
So it's all about the present moment and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's about it's basically all about the present moment. Eckhart Tolle is a spiritual teacher. He starts off the book with talking about how he was depressed his whole life and suicidal, and he says, he goes, I can't live with myself any longer. And then he realized, like, the weirdness of saying that. He says, I cannot live with myself. He's like, there's the I, and then there's myself. He's like, so that means there's two of us. He's like, which one is the real me? He's like, is it the I that I can't live with, or is it,
that's how he started his spiritual journey?
Yeah, that's it. And then it kind of woke him up to the fact that which one is the real me? Is it the one, like, the first part of the sentence or the last part? It's like there must be two of me. Which one is more real? Like, and he talks about how your thoughts aren't always the truth. Like, and we identify with our thoughts. We identify with our problems, and we become addicted to our problems because without our problems, we don't know who we are.
Yeah, that's kind of like when you're going for something. Like if you're going for a goal, you know, your goal is defining who you are at that point. Like if your goal is to, you know, you just start working out again, your goal is to do 50 push-ups in a row and feel good after instead of feeling like, you know, oh shit, like I can't do anything after. That's who's defining you. And then you're like, well, is this really me or is this just goal me? And then it's like, oh, back to the I and myself, you know. Who am I? Which one am I? Wow, I can't believe that's how he started.
Yeah, like, are you the thinker? Are you the thinker of your thoughts? Or are you the observer of the thoughts?
Wow.
That are being thought, like, you know.
Yeah, you know, that's so funny that you bring that up because with meditation, I think about that all the time. I'm like, all right, so half the time I'm not thinking and thoughts are coming in, then other half of the time I'm thinking and thoughts are coming in. So, like, which one really is me? I have no idea.
I think he talks about it. He says you are the observing presence.
Okay.
It's like a deeper. It's your deeper self.
So you think thoughts come in like how just energy is just floating around, like thoughts just come into your mind?
Like, I mean, for me, I believe there's cause and effect. Like, there's a reason why you're thinking that thought. There's a reason why that thought comes, but it's your reaction to the thought. It's your identification with the thought that you take. You get all these feelings start to arise and emotions based upon the thought because you're believing that the thought is yourself when in fact it's just a thought, and it's your choice whether or not to react to it emotionally or just to observe it and let it be and let it go, just like you would watch a cloud go by. You watch a thought go by.
Yeah. That's so interesting because I never thought of myself as just the observer. I thought of myself as somebody who observed but also came up with ideas. So if I'm coming up with an idea in this moment, say like something hits me, am I still observing that this thought came into me and I'm just reacting to it? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know
Am
what
I
I'm
losing
saying
you?
now.
I know when you get this deep, it's like, fuck, like, what are we talking about anymore? It's tough because you said that you're an observer. Like, we're all the observing mind in our brain. You know, like, we're not coming up with these ideas. These ideas are coming in like how clouds are just passing by. Those are the thoughts, and some of them stick with us a lot more than other thoughts. So when you're in that position, like, we're always the observer. Like, we can never come up with thoughts on our own.
Well, I think things just happen. I'm sure, and they wouldn't happen without us. You know, it's hard to tell. Like,
I know. Yeah, it makes you really think, because when you're in that situation, you're just like, okay, so did this thought come into me, or am I the creator of thoughts? Like, who are the creator?
I think it's both.
Okay.
That things are just happening, but you are creating them.
Because somebody has to create the thoughts for it to even come in. You know, somebody's got to think of it before, but who knows? Maybe this thought's been around for 1,000 years, and it just came in.
Well, I believe that things are always new. Everything is always unique and as new. There's never been anyone. I mean, I'm sure there's been somebody alive before this that is similar to you, but not exactly like you. Everyone alive today, we all have different fingerprints.
Isn't that amazing?
It's like snowflakes. Like,
that's right back to the journal
different.
prompt. What surprised you the most about your life? That is something that surprised me so much, that no matter where you go, you have a different fingerprint than everyone else. How the fuck did that happen?
It's all so complex.
What were you saying? Going back to your thought with us being all different with the fingerprints and stuff like that, that we're all new, like somebody was similar.
Yeah, every experience, every thought, every feeling is completely new and unique. So it's yeah, I don't know. Brain fart.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I could totally see what you're saying, that everything is new. Like, I could have been, say, like, there could have been someone just like me, but I am the newer and better version of that person. Like, I've created a life where I'm using more potential than that previous person. Do you think we're, like, reincarnated into the same person? Like, because there are definitely people that have such similar attributes and similar thoughts and similar, like, everything is so similar to a person that was old. Like, how many times have you heard grandparents or aunts and uncles like, you were exactly like my grandfather?
Right.
Like, imagine it was just like, you just go into the next thing, and like, my grandma was like, oh, you have the same exact haircut, like the same features as your grandfather when he was that age. And it's always so, like, that's something that I'm always thinking about. Like, is reincarnation real, that we're just going into our next phase of unlocking more potential of the person that we were, and now we just know a little bit more? Because how many times have you been just doing something, you're like, why am I already good at this? Like, I should suck a lot more at this moment. Like, I shouldn't be this good as a beginner. You know what I'm saying?
I guess. Yeah. For me, I mean, I don't know. What was I good at? I mean, everything takes practice.
Yeah, everything definitely takes practice. But I feel like some things I just have the knack for it right away. And I'm like, what if, I know I'm going off like on a whole tangent. I'm being a little crazy right now. I was listening to Joe Rogan and Duncan Trussell before this, so
I love them.
My brain is like, they were talking about, this one was pretty crazy. What I think Duncan Trussell was saying it, and then Joe Rogan was agreeing with him after that, like he thought of it before, that there are so many different dimensions and the universe is just completely infinite. Like, what if one night you go to sleep and, if karma is a real thing, maybe you did something super nice and now you just switch to a different universe that literally has everything the same, but from here on out the outcome is different, and the universe that you were switched to was like a better outcome for you, and the universe that you left was a worse outcome for you. And just because you did something nice, the universe greeted you with going to a different place, and that person, the other you, did something bad and now backtracked.
Right.
And yeah, they were just talking about how, like, what if that happens?
Yeah, so it's not my definition. The definition as I know it of karma is what happens is what you do. So what you do is what happens. So every single decision, every choice we make, every act we take is going to influence what happens. Mm-hmm. Everything we do influences what happens. So
so everything that you do influences everything that happens. So you have like an example, like if I don't know, if I take a walk around the block, that influences me to take more walks around the block.
Or you could see somebody and meet somebody on that walk. Who knows? And then they change your life forever.
Yeah, okay. I see what you're saying. Like, everything happens for a reason, but that doesn't define you as a person. Like, it's more of like, you're going to be doing this and whatever happens, happens. Like, your walk doesn't define you.
The walk doesn't define you, but what you do defines you.
Mm-hmm.
And that defines what happens.
Yeah. This is so bizarre. We are going so deep right now. I am confusing the shit out of myself.
That's good.
I can't wait. I really hope this podcast takes off one day, and I just look back at these, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you saying? Because I know right now, like, I'm not the best at this. We're only 20.
Yeah, every time we have a conversation, we're learning as we go.
Yeah, like, isn't that so crazy? Another thing that's bizarre with this world, we never were taught how to have a conversation.
Yeah, no one teaches you how to live. You just live, man.
Yeah.
It really is peculiar.
You think with all the rule books in the world, they would teach you how to live and how to be a better person and stuff like that. But they just teach you how to go to the next stage.
I mean, they do have, like, the Bible, like, religious books where they tell you how to live. But you have to interpret it for yourself. Like, there's a lot of misconceptions of the spiritual teachings. And that's what this book, The Power Now, is talking about. Like, where he's like, there's only one religious teaching among all these religious teachings and it's about the present moment, and it's about not losing yourself to your mind and time, mm-hmm. and the future and the past, and just being really in the present moment and enjoying it, mm-hmm. instead of looking behind you all the time at what you could have done differently, what you did wrong, or creating things that aren't real, like that's gonna that might not even happen, like just creating bad scenarios for yourself in the future.
Yeah, no, people do that all the time. They just put themselves in situations that they just dig a hole, and the hole gets deeper and deeper, and then you're just fucked.
Yeah. You doubt yourself, instead of trusting.
You know what's crazy? My sister was talking to me about this one day. What's so bizarre is that if you look at mainly like every religion, everything is so the same. Like the whole having disciples, having a one God, having a Jesus type of person, like they're all just taking from the other religion and just making different names. Like, it's just so bizarre that everyone is basically doing the same religion that's, practicing a religion, but they don't realize that the other religion is so similar. The only difference are the stories that we've come up with just to show, like, the metaphors of everything. Everyone wants to be like, oh, well, Christianity is stupid. Being Catholic is stupid because, like, Jesus didn't walk on water. Well, I mean, who cares if he fucking walked on water or not? Like, it's just telling you, like, what the process of this whole religion is and, like, showing different stories and stuff like that. But people are so ignorant. Back to the ignorant point. Like, if you show somebody who is Muslim the Christianity religion and say, oh, you have Allah, right? That's their God or something.
Yeah.
We have God. You have that person. We have Jesus. We have the disciples. You have your whatever
I think it was
they
Muhammad.
are. Yeah. And it's just so bizarre that people just don't want to open up their eyes. And that's the first thing. First, they don't want to open up their eyes. And second off, if they make that first step and then get to the second step of understanding where that person is coming from, most of the time they don't want to understand what they're saying because they're like, oh, that's stupid. That's just a stupid thought that's coming out of your mind.
Yeah, they have their beliefs already pre-assembled in their mind.
Yeah.
And whatever you say, they're gonna try and disagree with to protect what they feel is the
yeah,
right.
and
which,
I think the problem with it is that most of the people that have believed, say you believed in Christianity your whole life, and then I'm talking about this right now and you're listening to this, most of the time you're like, fuck, man, I wasted 60 years of my life thinking about this shit, and now, like, in your mind you're like, I'm technically wrong, but I'm not wrong. I'm not going to give up on this. And they don't want to, like, say, oh, you know what? I have another 30 years of my life. Let me figure out for the rest of the 30 years. And instead of being ignorant and being like, you know what? I'm going to stick with this and that's all I'm sticking with. Instead of, like, opening up and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. People are very weird with that.
Yeah, so back to my answer to this prompt is that it surprises me that no one knows what's going on. No one knows the truth behind life. And so we really have to open ourselves up and to be able to receive and to make our own judgments about what life is all about. Take from other people, because my belief, like you were talking about reincarnation before, like my belief is that everybody out there, you, your sister, it's me living another life. Mm-hmm. You can only experience this one life as you, as Nick Aharkis or Matt Fiorenza. You can't experience anyone else's life.
Don't you wish you could sometimes?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. But things are as they are. Like you can't. You can only experience this one life, and it's definitely it's insane. We are all like the same organism. We all are structurally. We all have a heart. We all have the lungs. We all have the two eyes. If we're lucky, then we have the nose and the mouth. Like we're all experiencing this life through the same vehicle. We really are all the same.
Yeah.
We really are. We are all unique. Like we were saying before, very unique. And
with the fingerprints and stuff.
Yeah, complex. And every little detail is unique and different from everyone else. But in my reality, we are all the same. Like we are each like
we're all basically like the same form. You know, we're a formula. And we're basically all the same formula, but like a few things are off. Basically, what you're trying to say. Like
much.
we're all here. We're all trying to figure out what the fuck we're doing.
Right.
But all of us don't want to come together and speak about it. We're all just like, all right, let's just do life, and when we die, we die. Like, let's not try to talk deeply and figure out like, how did we get here? Why are we here? Is there even a reason why we're here? Like, are we just here because of science and all these explosions with all these rocks? And like, Earth was created. It's so bizarre that everything is aligned so perfectly that we're able to live here. Like, the sun is the perfect amount of distance away from us. The rotations are the perfect amount of rotations. Even the rotations, not around the solar system, but every day the Earth is turning just a little bit, just so that we are rotating, so the sun technically, quote unquote, goes down, but in reality we're just turning away from the sun, and it's perfectly aligned every single day, and it's never messed up. It's so bizarre how nothing in space has ever thrown us off yet. We're still in this same thing that we've been doing for such a long time, and we're not preparing for any, we didn't prepare for the coronavirus. If we are thrown off of our path by probably a few degrees, we might be fucked, and we're probably not preparing for this. I don't even know how you would.
Yeah, exactly.
But there are some smart ass people.
It's like there. I said, we like to think of, there's a creator, there's a God, there's someone who created this whole thing. I'm not saying I don't believe in God. I believe in God, but not in the Catholic or any type of religious sense. But I believe in a higher power.
Yeah.
But it gives us comfort to think that there is the creator. But from my standpoint, you don't see a creator. Things were created. Let's just
things are just created.
Things when you just are born into this life, you come out of it like a flower from a field, or a leaf from a tree. You literally grow into this form that we are in our mother's stomachs.
Yeah.
And you have no say in the matter, in a way.
Yeah, it's not like do you want to live? Do you not want to live?
You're living.
Yeah.
There's no choice.
Yeah, no choice at all. You're just going.
Yeah, and but you do have a choice with what you do in the present moment. That is your one power.
100%.
And your power is your perception of the moment, because you could have everything in the world, but you could still have a fucked up mind where you perceive things as wrong, or
Yeah, you could always see things differently than everybody else, and you could always see things that are wrong. But it's just so amazing that. Yeah, we just come out and we're just there. That's so bizarre. I never think about this. That's never been a thought that we just come out, and we're so lucky too, because the chances of us even being born is just so low that when people are like, fuck life, I hate it, this sucks here, I never want to live on Earth, I'd rather be fucking shot out to Jupiter,
yeah,
bro, you're shot, the amount of energy that could have been born is just an astronomical number. You don't realize how lucky you are to be on this Earth and to help other people. I feel since I'm on this Earth and there's so much going on in life, doesn't matter what subject of life, I should just help everybody that I can pursue knowledge with that has the same interest. If I have a lot of knowledge in fitness, I want to just push out all that knowledge, everything that I know, because I learned it from other people, those people learned it from other people, and then the train just keeps going. That's why humanity is always trying to get better. But first we got better because we were just bored out of our minds. We're like, let's innovate, let's do something. But now we're at the point where we know so much that it's hard to innovate, because the things that we're discovering are so bizarre and so out of the box. And I've seen a lot of people just get lazy now, because they're like, oh, we know so much, why would we even want to know more? But that's what makes us human beings, the innovation in technology and just such small unique things, just how we walk, how we run. We've innovated through evolution and stuff like that. So just the thought of being here is amazing, but the thought of how we are creators and how we've come so far is even more amazing. It's just bizarre. I'm so all over the place today, but this is what people want to think deeply like this, and you can't deep thinkly unless you
we don't think in a linear form.
Yeah.
It's all sporadic, it's spontaneous.
Yeah, I'm on the track and then I go off a little bit and then I come back. arc. You know, I'm making zigzags throughout a whole straight line because I'm like, oh, let me dabble a little bit over here. Let me dabble a little bit over here. Maybe this can connect to this. And, you know, people are scared. Like, this is a whole, like, I'm putting myself out here doing this podcast, and like I'm not afraid of failure. Like, I don't care if somebody's listening to this and they're like, oh shit, he's all over the place today, like what the fuck's going on with him, this podcast sucks. And like, this is the only way to get better, is to just, you know, go out there, put shit out, think a little bit, think a lot more, and just keep going with those connections that you're trying to make. And then, you know, maybe at some point I can answer this question, like, what's the most bizarre thing? Like, it's very hard to say, because the more that we talk, the more that we're discovering, and the more that we discover, the more that we talk about it, and then the more that we discover. So it's just like a never-ending pattern, basically.
Right. It really is never-ending. It's always moving forward into new and more novel stuff.
Just new territory.
Always new.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why a conversation just keeps on going. Everything is always in the present moment, moving forward.
Yeah.
But you could get sidetracked, like you were saying.
Oh man, yes. I get sidetracked so much. Like, that's what I'm trying to get back to. Like, you know, like everyone wants to just see success just right away, and like I always think about this, like how am I supposed to be successful if I don't try? And like, you know, everyone's so afraid of embarrassment. You know, if you don't try, and you got to just be like, okay, I'm not even embarrassed by like the shit that I put out there. Like, I just got to do it. And like, I'm not embarrassed at all, but I'm just trying to speak to people who have ideas, that want to do things that they're holding back because friends and family and coworkers will make fun of them for. Like, it's horrible. People have so much potential in life, and what they do is they just sit back and they don't think about trying to get to that next point. They want to just hold everything in. They're like, I'm not good enough for that. So there's so many people that were just normal people that thought they were just whatever. They were just a normal average Joe, and then they tried it, and now they're huge in the world of whatever they're in, fitness or meditation or yoga, or whatever they're in. You know, like, they're just balling right now. They have so much more knowledge than they ever thought they could have. And you know, that's probably what surprises me the most about humanity right now, that we have so many resources in this whole entire world, and what we do is the same stupid bullshit every single day, and we don't try to innovate within ourselves. We innovate for companies and other things that probably won't even last a lifetime. It'll probably last like a certain amount of years, and that's it. And all that progress you made for that company has nothing to do with your life. You didn't make yourself better. All you did was just sit back and say, you know what? I can't be that person, so I'm going to help other things be that person.
Yeah, we all have limiting beliefs about our capabilities. Oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. And a lot of the times, like when we're younger, we know what we enjoy doing. We just do it. We know what we want.
We don't even think.
But then a lot of people, like, they grow up in a household where their parents will tell them, no, you can't do that. Or they shut it down. You get so excited over something, and then their parents shut them down. Like, no, you can't do that.
Like, instantly.
Yeah, instantly. And then they just forget about it. They literally forget what they actually wanted to do in this life. And they lose it sometimes. You have to go back and be like, what did I really want to do?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know who said this, but they made such a great point that parents kill curiosity for kids, and they kill all of their interests because, you know, for example, obviously there are some things that parents have to do. Like, okay, this kid's trying to walk off the couch right now. It's like a little toddler. Obviously, you have to say, no, you can't do that. But other things, such as simple like, oh, I'm going to play with utensils. I got a fork and a knife. And they're like, no, put that down. But no, they're trying to figure out what to do with it. Like, who knows? And maybe a baby can invent a new way of using a fork. It might not have to just do with eating. It could be something else. And their curiosity is killed at such a young age, which is so bad because that's when our brains are developing so much, and those ideas, we are true observers at that point. All those ideas come in and we're like, all right, let's do that. Let's do
little
that.
sponges.
Yeah, and no second thoughts at all. So yeah, they Billy needs to get this food. Okay. So yeah. We'll wrap this up now since Billy needs to come down and get a few things.
All right, yeah.
It's been 55 minutes anyway, so
Nice, fun times.
yeah, it's been a fun time. Definitely had some points in there where we were just like so deep into the conversation that our thoughts were just like, we just had to sit here for a second and be like, wow, did we really just say that? But it's always a pleasure. I feel like we always get so deep on conversations. This is exactly the type of podcast that I want. I want to reach the people who are thinking about, like, what is the craziest thing about humanity at this point? Like, and you've definitely been on this wavelength. It's crazy. Every single time I feel like I have a person on, I'm always getting a journal prompt that kind of fits that person. Like, it just happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cool thing. But hey, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for
Definitely
having me.
have you on again in the future.
For sure.
It's been a real one. Stay safe
Nice.
with those coronies. You don't want to get any viruses in you. And ladies and gentlemen, once again, if you're still listening, first of all, thank you so much. You are the real MVP. But wherever you're listening to, once again, if you're on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. If you're on iTunes podcast, give us a rate, give us a review. Wherever you are, I don't even know what the other things do. Spotify, I'm sure you could rate. Google Play, wherever you guys are, give us a rate. It would be a nice thing for you guys to do, and who knows, maybe that good karma will send you into another universe and you'll get a better life. Anyway, enjoy your day, fellas, ladies, and gentlemen. It has been real.